Hey, hello, and welcome back to the third episode and the second part of the Speedy building sessions for the famous city of Linderburg. Now, we already did a graveyard and two city blocks in part one. I put a link in the description just in case you missed that one. And right now behind this really beautiful city hall kind of building, which I reckon has a different function in Linderburg because there's already an old city hall and a new city hall, and we don't need a third city hall. But it has some function, I'm sure. Otherwise, it's just a hotel. We could pretend it's a hotel. Yeah, why not? Anyway, so backside of the hotel is, as you can see, the building was designed for it to be wall to wall, and so we have to do something there. And we're just gonna build a city block. Otherwise, you end up with too many parks just as fillers, and especially in old European downtowns, real estate is extremely precious. So we're just gonna cramp it. Probably going to stick to one sort of Baroque-ish style, imagining that all of this is a throwback to an older period. So we should be done relatively quickly. I think the big challenge is going to be to actually align the buildings to the not so rigid grid. And again, for the older listeners, maybe you recognize the soundtrack. It's SimCity 3000. I think this is Jerry Goldsmith, by the way, composer of that soundtrack. Anyway, it's just timeless, and it's a little more grounded and less ethereal, if you want, than the City Skylines track. Enough of my blabbering. As you can see, it's starting to take shape, even though it's a little bit basic. And of course, I had a couple of crooked houses here that I need to deal with. Doesn't need to be perfectly straight. This is a European downtown after all. But I wasn't too happy with the way I put things right then. So I was just going to go and do it all over. This is like trying to cram an elephant into a pigeonhole. But we'll get there. Hell, we'll just move the other building. Whatever it takes, move it. The Move It mod is your friend. And of course, when in doubt, plop a tree. Did I mention that? I think I did already. First you plop the tree, then the planter. The tree somehow sticks to some sort of a mini grid. The planters are free moving. Anyway, on to the park. That's the second thing we're going to build today. I put a little restaurant in the middle. And now I'm going to add some outdoor seating. Just to kind of make it more of a central meeting place. Right in front of a church. Next to some sort of a city palace. It's actually the in-game city palace on Dam Square in my beloved Amsterdam. The church, I'm not sure if it's from Vienna or Bratislava. Could also be France. Either way, let's start with the church square. Can't have that all bare land like that. And then we move on to the park. You can totally tell I'm narrating this days after I actually did this, right? I just have to make it up on the fly. I thought I was going to head right back into the park. And then I forgot that I actually did this first. You can see, by the way, a lot of times I plop things a little more freehand rather than always using a rigid line tool. There are really good times to use the line tool, and sometimes you just want to go with something a little less precise. Which, in my opinion, it just kind of adds to the charm. Yeah, that one's better. Time to put the trees in. And again, trees first, planters second. You see, with trees, I'm a little more iffy, right? That's where I kind of want to have them aligned somehow. I am not sure about the realism of those purple trees. I don't even think they're supposed to be... Are they cherry blossoms? Maybe. But I just love how they look. I mean, I know this is me mixing up Planet Coaster with City Skylines, but... whatever. Ignore the garbage, by the way. The city is not functioning. I mean, it doesn't even have a highway connection. Alright, this is how I do a park, by the way. Small little shrubs, couple of bigger shrubs, and then a tree or two. Not too precise, not too symmetrical. And I somehow find that it is the most, especially from afar, the most realistic way to do a park in City Skylines. You know, we don't really have much terrain texture to work with. I mean, sure, you can select another texture. But... I don't know, just seems to work, and it gives it a bit of an organic feeling. So this is how I do parks, and it works especially well for smaller parks, by the way. I can't imagine doing something the size of Tiergarten in Berlin, or Bois du something in France, north of the Champs-Élysées, between Versailles and Paris. If anyone knows, let me know. Or I can just go on Google Maps. Anyway. A ploppy here, a ploppy there. And then maybe some of these little poppy flowers. And then some lanterns and, you know, a couple of bins and benches and... Bob's your uncle. Bob's your uncle, Edna's your aunt. Somehow, I have the exact same table as in the restaurant. But of course, that's not a somehow coincidence. It's because they were part of this very structure. And so it works. Just decided to go with it. Then, of course, there's the nitpicking about the umbrellas because I want them all to be the same color. And then I fill up the gap in the middle if you want. I just fill it up with concrete texture, which in this case won't look like concrete. As with the theme picker tool thingy, I swapped blend concrete for this beautiful cobblestone texture. No matter how much of it I lay out, it will never look patterned. It's a really, really good texture. One there, one there, one there, and one there. Boom. So I'm starting to like where this goes. Let's add some benches. Copy paste is your friend. Now look at that, somehow I have one end that is not exactly a 90-degree curve. I have no idea what happened there. I could rip it all out and make it perfect, and then I thought, wait a second, no, it never is perfect in cities either. So, meh, stick with it. Make it work. Hey, and there we go. I like where this is going. Let's just plop a fence around it. This is not the kind of, you know, you don't want people to sort of run from the grass right onto the tram track. Actually, I don't want any people on the grass, come to think of it, but either way, what really works very well, by the way, with these kind of draggable fences is drag out a short section first, then use the move it tool to grab the nodes at the end to really sort of force it the way you want it to be. This is a lot of fucking around, obviously. It's tedious, even at a, 4x speed playback. It's still tedious. Still boring, even just to watch it. But I hope you're still there because we are up for the showcase, my favorite version. I'll also post it separately as a little 1-minute video or something. But the showcase, I guarantee you, will be very dreamy. So let's wrap this up. Let's just fade to black. I'll shut up. You get to enjoy the showcase video. How about that?